our presentation today is called Give Students the World via Live Virtual Expedition. And as before starting this presentation, I thought you are going to have a treat because that's what you are going to experience. So my name is Mariel Gomez de la Torre-Cerfontaine, but it's so long that I didn't put my other last name. I teach K-12 and also parents at night in the school is Summit Virtual Academy. This is my 3rd year as a virtual teacher. This is my 30th year as an ESL teacher. So, Jessica.
Hello, I'm Jessica Yauri Cruz. I am a kindergarten 12th grade teacher in Lima-Peru.
And Carmen. So that's I'm Carmen Rosa Cáceda, and I'm a professor at, of ESL and bilingual education at Western Oregon University.
And there's something unique about the 3 of us. Carmen was my professor in Lima-Peru. She taught me linguistics, and I was the professor of Jessica. So we are 3 generations together. And I started this project, and I started talking to Carmen, who's in Oregon, I'm in North Carolina, and Jessica in Peru, and they love my project. And now it's not only no longer my project, it became our project, and now we are working in our research paper. So just a little bit in how we ended this Oregon, North Carolina, and Peru together in this project. So first of all, I want everybody to put your seatbelt. Make sure it's tight. Does everybody have their seatbelt? We are ready to fly away. So we are in Oregon, and now we are going to travel to another part of the world, if you can see it. And we are arriving in a matter of seconds in the Puente of the Suspiros. So if you are ready, Jessica, I'm going to switch screens, and I'm going to put a spotlight for you. So the floor is yours, Jessica. So tell us where you are, and we are ready for you.
Hello, everyone. Here, hello from Lima, Peru. As you know, Lima has 43 districts, okay? And I am in one of the most famous landmarks in Barranco, district of Lima. And Barranco is easy to explore on foot or by bike. But now I'm going to show you this special place in Barranco district. Okay, maybe you can see, let me show you. Okay, yeah, can you see?
Yeah,
now,
everybody thumbs up, everybody can see it.
Now, yes, Mariel, this is the bridge of sighs. We call Puente de los Suspiros, and this is in Barranco. Now, I'm going to show you this very special bridge, and it's known as Bridge of Sighs, and it was built back in 1876, and this bridge has a legend. The legend says, if you make a wish, and if you are able to cross this bridge without holding your breath, your wish will be granted. Let's do it. You want to try it with me?
So everybody's going to stand up,
so
and the students will be doing the same thing. So everybody stand up from your seat. Hold your breath. Make a wish, because by the end that we finish this, it's going to come. So everybody, we're going to pretend we are walking. So we pretending we're walking.
Now, let's be prepared. Now we have to close our eyes.
Hold your breath.
Your wish. Hold your breath. We're gonna cross the bridge. Okay, we ready? 1, 2, go. Don't breathe. And we are crossing the bridge. Yes. We are crossing the bridge. We are crossing the bridge. Don't breathe, please. Think about your wish. Now we are crossing. And yeah, we crossed the bridge. Now we are ready. I promise that your will be granted. I promise it.
So
as you can see, this is the bridge.
Jessica, you have to tell them, don't tell them what they wish, because otherwise it's not going to be granted. So you have to keep it as a secret.
It's a secret, but I promise that it will be granted. Now, I have some questions for you. Maybe you can write in the chat. You can write your answer in the chat, okay? So, look at the sky, look at the trees, look at around me. Yeah. The first question is, what time of the day it is? Remember that you can write your answer in the chat.
So you need to answer us in the chat. So someone is telling me
Early.
afternoon early.
4 p.m. Yeah. Morning.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
2:45.
Okay.
The time of the day is in the late afternoon.
It's in the early afternoon. Yes. Okay. Exactly. We are a quarter to 3. Yeah.
So Kathy is right. 2:45.
Kathy, and the winner is Kathy. Yes, Kathy, you're the winner. Yeah. Bravo. Hooray. Second question. What season it is in Barranco? Look. Write your answer in the chat.
Or you can unmute too.
Spring.
Somebody wants to talk. Normally the kids
Yeah.
will unmute.
Oh, it's
Yes,
spring.
of course.
So spring.
It's spring. Yeah.
That's one idea.
Yeah. Okay, well done. It's a spring here. Okay, but it's a spring now. Okay, because the spring in Lima starts in September, but this year was really different. I don't know why. Early in the morning was cloudy, but now it's sunny and the weather is perfect. Okay. Do you have any other question about this place? If
So
you
you
want
can-
to ask.
You can unmute and ask questions, or you can write it in the chat, whatever you feel free. Kids normally
What's
unmute
the-
and they ask questions.
What's the temperature there right now?
Maureen, you've been there, here, yes.
Jessica, what's the temperature over there?
The temperature is
Temperature here in Salem? Well, I'm in
yeah,
Salem.
the temperature here is 29 degrees. Yes. Remember in the morning, in the morning was cold, yeah.
So that's centigrades, right? Not Fahrenheit.
Centigrades. No, it's centigrades, yes.
It's about 84 Fahrenheit.
Mhm.
80, yes.
78 where I'm at, Fahrenheit.
Mhm.
How old is the bridge? Oh, this bridge is old. Imagine that it was built in 1876. Yeah, it's very old. And many couples come here to get engaged, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Why did they build the bridge? This bridge was built after the Pacific War. And they built this bridge because fishermen came here to work early in the morning, and they didn't have a bridge to walk and go to the beach because the beach is near. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was built 1876. So that's all, Mariel. If we don't have more questions, yes.
Okay, that was amazing. Jessica, thank you for sharing with us.
Mhm.
So this was a treat. And normally our field trips, it takes about 45 minutes, and the kids, you have just a very short version, but the kids will be asking the questions, and they unmute themselves and ask you. So this was just a little bit of what the experience about it. Thank you, Jessica. So we will continue. So in the chat, we are going to put so that you can read a little more about this. And so you can have, and at the end, you're going to have in the Padlet a lot of more information, but you can get more information about this important message. So here comes how this idea started. We start COVID. And when I start COVID, my family living in Peru, my father in that time was 88 years old. They were not able to go out because in Peru, up to now, they still like was very secure. You have to go with mask, and they were not able to go. And this was the first time that they gave permission to go out. And my brother took me to this field trip with him. And he put the telephone, he switched the camera, and I start seeing everything. And in that moment, I have this click in my head and say, oh my God, I'm not able to go anywhere because I had a lung disease. And before having my fifth shot, because actually I had my fifth shot this week, I was not able to go anywhere. My groceries was coming to me. Everything I teach virtually. I was not going out. And for the first time in that area that you see here of the ocean, there are some little tiny, and Maureen, I think you have been in Peru. You can say that Lima is normally covered by clouds. You hardly can see these tiny islands. Probably when I'm talking to you, if you were in the time that is not full of clouds, you don't see these tiny island. And they said, what islands are those? Because I've never seen it in my entire life. I live in Peru. Because in the time of COVID, there was no pollution. So no pollution, we start seeing things that we have never seen before. And I was in a state of shock because I've never seen them. And then I hear the ocean and I start experimenting. I say, if this impacted me, how is it going to impact the kids? And that's what I said, that's it. I'm going to start doing this for my kids. So then is when I start thinking, I know people around the world. And so here comes, if my students cannot go out of their houses, I'm going to bring the world to them. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to take advantage to just find somebody that is willing to give 20 to 40 minutes of their life to share where my kids can ask questions and see the world. So my first thought was, I didn't think in showing the States, and I will tell you why. Because I thought they're going to be able to see the States. They're going to drive one day when they're 18 and they're going to go out. But seeing the world is going to be more difficult because they require to have a passport, they're required to travel, enter back to the United States. So I start seeing all the process of difficulty to leave the United States. Being in the United States, it was going to be an easy task for them in the future. So that was my thoughts behind that. So, Carmen?
So as I listened to what Mariel said, we went and looked a little bit into the definitions of, for example, field trips and everything. We don't have a definition yet. It's, as you can see, it's still in progress. So we are calling them live virtual expeditions because, like Mariel said, there is more to what you have just experimented. That what we gave you was just a snippet. So for us, this LVES is a teaching strategy that motivates, promotes, and more importantly, enhances learners' linguistic and cultural skills. Like some of you ask us some questions in the chat so we can get some ideas. And the interesting thing is that learners are synchronously part of a double-street venue because they're here in the US and then we have the other person on the other side of the world. So as they are interacting, as they are looking, they are using language authentically, meaningfully, and in engaging ways. The next one, Mariel.
So now we need you to do something. We told you this is interactive. So this is time for you to do something for us. So we need you to go to menti.com. So this is it's a web page, and we need you to put the numbers 24195503, and you are going to answer the question, how can we teachers support multilingual learners to learn English to any other language better?
So basically what we would like is that you give us some ideas how it is that we can support our learners to learn English in the US. It could be any other language because this can be applicable to any language actually. So you can go to Menti or you can answer it. Or you couldn't get it. You couldn't get it in. Sherry said that she cannot get in.
I can put the link in the chat.
Yes. That's.
And then I put the numbers again.
Or the question.
Okay, or answer in the chat as well. This is the number. If you cannot do it in the menti.com, you can answer in the chat as well.
Yes, I think, Mariel, if you can copy the question and put it in the chat, that will help some of our colleagues.
Yeah, can you see it? You can just reply in the, I put a website, menti.com in the chat, and the number is 24195503. And if not, just reply in the chat. It's okay.
Yes.
For a matter of time, reply in the chat if the Menti is not working.
Yes. So we are just.
Thank you, Miss Priscilla, for helping us.
Mhm.
And as soon as you reply, please let us know.
But Mariel, can you go to the Menti because, or do you want me to go to the Menti? Because
Please, you can go to the, you ready to share?
Yes,
Yeah.
just one
Okay.
sec. Just one sec. Let me see if we have any answers. Nobody has answered yet.
Is anybody reply already, Menti? Put us a thumbs up.
No, I don't see any responses.
You can unmute.
Carmen, this
was
is
able to get in
Jessica.
with the link.
I did reply in the Menti. Did it not go through?
Let's see, manage results.
I
Okay.
applied as well.
Reset result, no. Oh, view results. Okay. Yes, question was not enabled. Now, I don't know why is it that I'm not looking for them. I can see that 4 people answer, yes.
Okay, so you can share those. Just
yeah,
share your
yeah.
website.
But I'm not seeing the answers. Oh, one sec.
Maybe
No.
you refresh your Menti, Mariel and Carmen.
Yes, that's a good point.
Refresh your Menti, yeah.
And share it.
Where is the refresh? Jessica, help me. What is the refresh? Okay, Jessica, I'm going to share. Okay.
Yeah, share your screen because you're the
Yeah,
owner
so
of
here
that.
it is the I can see that 6 people have answered, but
View
Jessica,
results there. View results. Click view results.
no, that's what I did, but nothing comes up. It want us to export, and then
You have 4 results, yes.
yeah, but the thing is that I cannot. Can I download it? No, I cannot see. This is weird because before this one, I could see the responses, but here I cannot see the responses.
So let's do something. If you can help us for the sake of time, can you write your responses in your chat, please? Otherwise,
Jessica, you said that I could refresh. How can I refresh this one?
because in view results should come
On the top,
Where?
let me see. Okay.
in view results should come immediately. I don't know what's happening.
Yes, exactly. I don't know what's happening.
But
Let me
let's
see,
plan
let me
B.
see my-
This is my opinion. When the plan A doesn't work, let's go to plan B.
Yes.
So everybody, very quickly, if you can help us with plan A as technology is not working, let's go to plan B.
Yes.
So let's go to the chat and there, I was able to see it.
Yeah.
Good results. I saw the results a second ago.
Yeah, me too. But now they have disappeared.
Click the results there.
Okay. But
No,
I can.
that was not. Okay, let's go to plan B. Otherwise, our time is going to be out. So, okay, music. I'm reading something as music. Is anybody want to unmute so we do it really fast because I don't want to lose the time. So teachers help us with plan B. We know when plan A doesn't work, let's go to plan B. That's what we need to teach our kids.
Yes.
So is everybody unmute and very quickly give us, what do you think? What did you respond to the questions?
Mariel, we already have some answers. I share a YouTube video tour or Zoom. They take
Okay.
a training, explicit teaching of vocabulary, lots of interactions. I think this could be really powerful.
Hand gestures, I love it, that one.
Asset-based mindset, tapping into all the linguistic capabilities.
Dance, love it.
Use multilingual full linguistic repertoire in teaching, music, hand gestures, visuals, accept code switching as natural, dance. Oh, I love that. Shelter instruction strategies.
Awesome answers. So all these are what we can do as a teachers to support. So these are other ideas that you can add it to your list. Engagement, our number one, and I will add it enthusiasm. If you are enthusiastic, you will pass it to your students. That is number one. Whatever you do, you need to energize your students. Visual experience, relationship, time, exposure, practice, support, and access to conserving. Would you like to add anything, Carmen, this one?
No, I mean, I think
Okay.
that the most important thing is.
So now, how? I'm assuming Oregon or other persons from other states, you do very similar to what we do in North Carolina. We need to integrate listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So if that is correct, can you put me a thumbs up to make sure that you do exactly the same as we do here in North Carolina? Yes, absolutely. And I'm assuming, and I'm going to assume that you probably had the same problem that we have in North Carolina, which is speaking and writing. The kids master the listening, they master the reading, but somehow the speaking is a problem, even though they speak, but they speak in the social language, but they don't speak in the academic language. And therefore, there is a problem on writing. If you experience the same problem, thumbs up. Okay, so we are speaking the same language. Anything that you would like to add here? Yeah, keep going.
No, yes.
So, Carmen.
So the other thing is, it's not only that we want them to get the listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and also the other ways that we can do it, but we also want them to learn by doing, which has to be authentic. It has to be interactive, and very important, start to get those multicultural opportunities in those interactions. Mariel.
So, as a believer, and the same as Dr. Carmen Cáceda and Jessica, we think that it's important that whatever we do, there has to be a research, something that back up what we say. And one of the things that I found, and Dr. Andrea Honeysfeld, which probably you already know her, she back us up this. So, Carmen, would you like to?
The next one or this one?
No, here.
Okay, so yes, you know, nothing is detached from, theory is not detached from practice, and practice is not detached from theory. So that's why when I began listening to what Mariel was doing, and then she connected this one to virtual field trips. The thing is that what we read from the theory, it's virtual field trips is one thing, but that's why we want to expand the definition a little bit, and that's why we prefer to call them live virtual expeditions. And so that's why we're also trying to write a manuscript on that.
Correct. And so in the following things that we're going to share with you, and this is how we started. So before I start the expeditions, I don't tell them where we're going. I give them hints. I give them some facts about the places. And so the kids start, okay, where are we going to go? I say, no, these are the facts. You have to figure it out. So they start going to the internet to find out where the facts are. And so can you very quickly tell me, unmute yourself, what is the first thing that they're going to do before we start an expedition? What are they doing when I give them facts? They're doing research, because they have to research where are the facts. They are reading. Mm-hmm. And then they have to start communicating with me because they have to figure out where we're going. So they start creating that interest of where are we going. And so that is the first thing. I'm creating that curiosity of where we're going. No? So I send them where we're going, and then finally I tell them the day before where we're going, and the kids, they get excited. Oh, I figured out where we're going, blah, blah. So they get excited. So the enthusiasm is there. So which countries we have visited? Well, my students can say to the day of today, we have been at least once in every continent. So they visit the 7th continent, including the Antarctica. Which has been the most difficult one. You have to do it through finding a scientist or the government of the United States. So that has been the hardest. And I told my students, before you finish the school last year, you will see the Antarctica. So that's what we have done. So this is an idea for you that we almost has covered the whole world. The hardest to see is Asia because of the time difference. So I have to negotiate with my kids that the only way to see Asia and Australia was that we have to meet in the evening. And my students connect at 8 p.m. They don't bother themselves. It's 8 p.m. They get excited and they connect. And that's the enthusiasm that it happens. So this is everything that we have covered, almost all countries in Europe and also only 2 countries in South America that we haven't connect. And as a result, because now we have to tell you why these trips are fantastic. So 36 states using WIDA, and they use access tests. Most of them, kids don't exit it because of the speaking. They pass the listening, they pass the reading, they pass the writing. And because of the scores of the speaking, they can't. But look at my scores. What happened to speaking? That speaking went up because my students are forced to speak, but they're not forced to speak like you have to speak. No, they are speaking because they want to ask questions. It's like when you start this presentation today, the students wanted to ask questions. They want to know. Of course, I'm going to tell you a secret. All the students ask, and it's so weird, are there cats there? It's like they think that there are no cats in another part of the world. There are no dogs. And it's so curious because in every country they ask me, are there cats there? It's like they think they only are cats in the United States and they don't exist cats in any other parts of the world. It's so bizarre. But this is how it jumps. I have a record of 12 kids that I went back when they started. And I'm so fortunate that I have 3 kids in this data that I taught when I was in face-to-face. So it was the same teacher that taught in face-to-face, and this teacher moved with them to virtual. So it's the same teacher. It's not like they have another magical teacher that changed. It's the same teacher, only we changed the strategy. So that's what I'm trying to say, that the teacher. But then,
yeah, I'd like to add that actually Mariel started the what we call the live virtual expeditions in 2020. And you can see the jump for the 2021. Obviously, Mariel was teaching them, and this is more or less what they were being scored at that time. So that's why we can see that there is a difference. Now, because this is out of 6 that they are tested on the access test, right? So obviously, we would like them to get to the 6, but you can see that at least there has been a lot of improvement, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good question. I just saw from Priscilla. In North Carolina, we use the access test from WIDA. We are WIDA state. So we do WIDA once a year. It's in the months, we start January 31st to March, the first week of March. And so this is the access test result, is once a year. So that's how we measure. We measure speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And in this data, I have 4 of the students from my 12 students that I have kids that I also taught in face-to-face. So that is what I like from this data as well, that is kids is the same teacher and having teaching in both worlds, in face-to-face with them and also in virtual, but using the strategy. And then I also have data in my writing. And also in my writing, you can see what happened in 2018, 2019, 20, and 21, how we jump up. Because the speaking went up, when you have that part of speaking so strong, you are going to make writing be strong as well. So here come, this is North Carolina. This is where my students live. My students live in Salisbury. I live in Carton, it's 1 hour away. But this is what my students surrounded is how they look like. And so my first field trip, which I was fortunate that Jessica joined me to. The previous week, I taught deserts. I showed them wonderful videos of deserts from the Discovery Channel. I remember my brother who lives in Lima started showing, he was going to show this video that you see here on the right. And he started with the camera totally off, and he was talking and everything. And he told, "Are you ready?" And my kids got excited. He said, "Yes." And then, boom, he turned on the camera. And the first view that he saw is the picture that you see on the right. And the first thing that all my students told in chorus was, "And where are the trees?" And they were like, "What? What are you talking? What do you mean? Why are you asking me where are the trees?" I told you we're going to see the desert. And it was like, for me, it was like an eye-opening. Like, we have done a week of lessons about desert. We read a book about desert. I show you a video about desert, pictures about desert. And it was not until they saw it through Zoom that they understood the meaning of the word desert when they didn't see any trees. It was like, wow, incredible. And then I realized the powerful of Zoom, the Zoom trips, the expeditions. And the next second trip, this was September of 2020.
10 minutes.
We're almost finishing. 20.
Actually, 5 minutes.
Yeah, I realized that our second trip was the Netherlands. And last week we went to Denmark. And if somebody had traveled to Denmark or the Netherlands, They are very similar, they look alike. And last week, one of my students told me, wow, Miss Mariel, have you noticed that the Dinamarca looks very similar to the trip that we did to the Netherlands, which was 2 years ago? And I was like this, boom, boom, boom. They remember a trip that happened 2 years ago. So do you see they are able to compare and contrast? And then we read a book about, we read an article in New Zealand, each of them in their own article. And when we went to Nazca Line, they were able to compare. Carmen, you have something to tell us in this part.
We have 5 minutes.
Yeah, very quickly. We have that.
I mean,
no, this finished at 4:20, 1:20.
yeah, but time for questions, Mariel.
Yeah, go.
No, I mean, so what Mariel was telling here is that the students have read this one, but it was not until they saw this mountain and even with a cat that the reading made much more meaningful for them.
And then, Carmen, if you can tell them what we do with the kids that they don't speak fluent English or they don't understand fluent English, they are in the beginner stage.
Yes, because that's the other thing, you know, when we teach emerging bilingual learners or multilingual learners, we don't have, not all our classes have the same level. So we did have some beginner, some students at the beginner level. So we went back to the concept of scaffolding or scaffold that Walkie wrote. And so what we did was kind of a checklist, or in this case, what it's called the scavenger hunt, where the students, when they're watching, wherever they are, they can kind of check and then they know what the writing is about. So they know the picture. So then next class or next session, they kind of try to pronounce the word. So we are kind of supporting their learning in other ways if they cannot speak or write initially.
So we have some tips for you.
Okay, the first one is plan. We need to have different plans, plan A, plan B, and plan C, as today, for example, okay? Mariel?
And you need to meet with your guest speakers first. You need to make sure that your speaker, give them a side what your expectations are and everything, make sure that is the right person. And then prepare your students to be excited, give them some facts. Now for you, Jessica.
Okay, and how important are rules? Okay, they need to be, what rules are they going to apply during a virtual expedition?
And be prepared for everything or anything. I remember we have a trip to London and that day was really a bad rain and there was no way to connect it. So I was fortunate enough to have a friend that was able to connect it to Arequipa, Peru. And I remember for my good luck or bad luck, I don't know which one, I have a supervision from the state of North Carolina and my principal. And then my principal told in that minute, I don't think this is London. And all my students in a chorus say, don't worry, Mr. Q, this is plan B, plan A didn't work. So just relax, enjoy Arequipa, Peru. So I train my kids to have the sometimes it's not going to work.
And last one, use different Zoom link for each virtual expedition. Remember that you are working with kids, okay? And they must be safe.
Okay, and something very important is you can have this type of tools. If you look in my other camera, if you're able, I have my clocks there. So the kids, each clock represents each continent. So my students can see virtually what time it is in every time. This is another amazing clock, it costs $10 in Amazon and tells you what time is in everywhere. So that's cool. And this is courtesy of my parents that show me how the kids were excited by looking at the expeditions. And this, I was so fortunate that Mr. Tan from Thailand, if you follow his blog, he's amazing. I was fortunate to write to him and he agreed to take me to Thailand. And this is a sample of one of the writing of one of my students that after this, she's an 8th grader. She learned how to write because she didn't want to write. And after all the writing that we did for 1 year, going to all the expeditions, she was able to master the writing and exited last year. I also exited a 3rd year newcomer with all the writing that we brought to the guest speakers. So with that, I'm going to put a Padlet with tons of informations that don't put it in a safe place because we grow that all the time. And if you have any questions for us, this is the time to do it. And we thank you for coming. And we are going to share this amazing Padlet that keep growing and keep growing. So every time that we are doing something special, and this was just a very short, but if you're coming to the international TESOL, that is the deal because that's 1 hour and a half. So we're going to be able to present more things that we couldn't do it in 40 minutes. So here is the Padlet for you. And we have a short evaluation that we would like to please, if you can fill it for us, we will appreciate it because that's how we get better and better. February, we have been invited to go to Kuwait to present. We presented in Turkey last week. Our purpose is if every teacher in the world does a simple strategy like this, our students are going to be able to speak and write in a very meaningful way for them. And on top of that, they're going to see the world that is amazing. So if you have any question, we have 5 minutes for questions. Thank you for coming.
I would like to add something. As you can listen to Mariel, so when we have the evaluations, it's usually in other conferences. So it's those countries kind of serve us to get speakers. So everybody's so willing. I mean, and they listen to it and say, oh yes, I want to be in your classroom. So that's also another way that you can connect if you were to begin doing these projects with your students.
I have a question. Do you have like a database where you're keeping all the people who want to be on there, or is it just kind of like you meet somebody and then you bring them in and that's your contact?
Okay, so first when I started was relatives and friends around the world. And then I started with like Lion Club members. They know people in another countries. So that was my next step. Then I started contacting with people from TESOLs of around the world. So that's how I arrived to Kuwait, and that's how I arrived to Oman, and that's how I arrived to Kuwait and Tanzania. So that's how it's growing. So I would suggest go to Facebook groups of TESOL, different TESOLs around the world. Lion Club and Rotaries. Those are amazing people that will help you, but please, please, please meet with them earlier so they understand what you want from them. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that has been so fortunate that Andrea Honisfeld came to my trip to Egypt and she just loved it. And she wrote an article in this book. She told me that it's just amazing because she saw the results. She came to two of my trips and she has seen how my students has grown. Mm-hmm. It's very simple. It costs you, how much it costs you? $0. It's only your time to find guest speaker, and the guest speaker, when they love it, they find you friends. Mm-hmm. Because it's amazing. My friends find another friends, and then I become with friends. And now I have been invited to go to Turkey in real life, to Cameroon. And so I have a lot of trips coming very soon. I went to Canada with one of my guest speakers. So your life is going to be getting like this big.
Mariel, there is a question. How long is each conversation on average?
It's about 40 minutes. And in my case, my school started at 8 o'clock and I start the trips at 7:15. And the kids turn on their Zooms at 7:15. They love it. They love it. And something amazing. The other day we were reading a book about rainforest, and one part in the book says that Peru has 3,000 varieties of fruits, and my students are, oh, you are Peruvian. Can we see the 3,000 varieties of fruits? I say, I'm sorry, I've never seen 3,000 varieties of fruits because Peru doesn't have roads to go to these areas. But then I heard that they finished a road and some fruits are coming. So immediately I was able to call and somebody took us to the, what we call Mercadito. It's not like a supermarket, but that's, and we saw it. So anything, you can do math, science, social studies.
Mariel.
Okay, there was a question.
I think we need to finish, even though there is a question right here.
Yeah.
Just I imagine you also taught many lessons on writing and how to do speaking assessments.
Yes, that things I do during my class time, not during the field trips. We in my ESL class, I do my writing and my speaking. I give them.
He's answering one of my questions.
Yeah, I give them the STEM lessons, and we do writing that during the class. So they apply what we do in the trips. Yes, and they keep reading, because once they see a country, they want to know more about it. So they go to their reading books, and they keep reading about the country. Now we are using Write Reader, and they're writing their books about Denmark. They are so excited.
Okay. So thank you very much once again. We have just given you a snippet of the whole project. Well, I mean, we wish we could have like an hour, but yeah, in TESOL, we're going to have like an hour and a half. So
An hour and a half. So we are going to be able to do more that we couldn't do in 40 minutes, but we are very blessed, because when we go out of the United States, it's 20 minutes. So 40 minutes, it was a blessing. I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you're applying. Once time, I'm going to put our information. We have 1 minute. Incredible. We made it, ladies. We are
Thank you so
getting
much.
better.
Thank
So
you so
if
much.
you need to contact, please take a picture and contact us. I'm in Twitter. I share a lot in Twitter. I'm not so good in emails, but I'm very good in Twitter. So Carmen is the opposite. She's very good in emails. And Jessica is a mix of both.
Okay. Thank you very much then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you, Carmen,
Bye.
Mariel, and Jessica.